Welcome to Birds of Prey Sports Talk, where we weekly cover Orioles and Ravens news. We're your hosts, TJ and Jared, and today we'll be covering the very disappointing and embarrassing, just flat out embarrassing, Ravens and Steelers games. I mean, this game was just laughable. So this game has a lot of problems to talk about. So I guess I'll just start with the offense. Drop central today. I mean, we just had too many drops from a receiving core that was built this offseason to help Lamar and be his best receiving core. And they just failed him today. I mean, you had Bateman drop an easy touchdown in the end zone. I mean, I think a 5-year-old kid could catch that. I think any Pop Warner kid who's ever played football will be able to catch that pass. And Andrews had a pass that he could have caught for a touchdown. Aguilar, he looked like his Eagles self. He dropped a wide open touchdown pass, could have been for a touchdown. We just had so many drops today, and the score. It's just another one of those Ravens losses where the score is like doesn't tell the full representation of how the game went. This game could have been dominated by us. We could have had 4 touchdowns. We could have had 28 plus points, but we just got in our own way. Zay Flowers had a drop where it just seemed like he was thinking about taking it up 20 yards before he actually caught the ball in the first quarter. And, stuff like that was just unacceptable. I'm not gonna lie, Zay Flowers had a bad game today. I'm sorry. I gotta say this. He was ass. I'm sorry. He just had a bad game today. He needs to, look at the film and do better. This is not what we expect out of a rookie first round pick wide receiver. And receivers just had a down day today. And we didn't do much in the running department either. I mean, Gus only had 12 carries. Justice Hill did pretty good, and I guess that's a good segue into me to get into the stats. But Lamar went 22 of 38, 236 yards passing, 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. Rushing, Gus Edwards had 12 attempts, 48 yards, 4 yards per carry. Sorry. Lamar had 6 attempts for 45 yards. He had 7.5 yards per carry.
I'm
Justice Hill,
sorry. I'm sorry. That was funny. I don't know why. For yeah.
Justice Hill had 7 attempts for 32 yards and 4.6 yards per carry. And our dreadful receiving core, Zay Flowers had 11 targets, 5 receptions, 73 yards, 14.6 yards average. Mark Andrews had 10 targets, my apologies, 10 targets, 6 receptions for 65 yards. He averaged 10.8 yards per catch. Nelson Aguilar had 5 targets, 4 receptions for 64 yards, and he averaged 16 yards per catch. And that's about it. Everybody else pretty much didn't do anything. Yeah. I just want to point this out. It seems like Mark Andrews' stat lines always end up being 5, 6 receptions for like 60 yards and no touchdowns or 1 or 2 touchdowns. I just thought that was pretty funny. But I'll turn it to you. Do you'll get into the defense, but do you have anything to say about this game?
um, not a good segue into before the Orioles game tonight. But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It was just disappointing. I mean, let's just be real. We sucked. Like I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It's just we sucked. I mean, what's the second? This is the second loss this year where a fumble has dictated a game.
Oh yeah.
What is the first thing I texted you? Because we were winning 10-0. The
Mhm.
first thing I texted you after Justice Hill fumble. What did I say? We're probably going to lose now, or at least
Right,
score
it's
three more
over.
points.
Over. Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Dude,
we're going to probably lose and score only 3 more points. Well, we didn't score any more points after that, so just something to think about. We didn't score. What did we scored? We scored what in the first quarter, and that was it. Something like that. Something
yeah.
ridiculous like that. So I mean, that's just embarrassing. And like Ian Eagle and Charles Davis, were all over the Steelers defense today. saying like, oh, the Steelers defense really kept him in this game. No, they didn't. Shut up. Like those two are buffoons in the booth. I'm sorry. I don't like Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. I hear his freaking stupid voice all the time, freaking Madden all the time. I gotta hear him on Sundays now. Get him out of the booth. I don't care. They were glazing the freaking Steelers defense the whole day. Look. I'm not gonna lie. Steelers defense is great, but how much did we feed into their greatness today?
Like hundred
Like
percent.
how better did we make their defense look by dropping a whole bunch of passes and calling like second down and 20 runs and stuff like that? Or, Mr. Ronnie Stanley wants to freaking let some, rando on the defense blow right by him. And then when Falele came in, of course TJ Watt was gonna just explode because Falele's terrible. We're supposed to develop this man into our next right tackle. Might as well just re-sign Alejandro Villanueva. So I mean, it's just I don't know. It just feels like these announcers have absolutely no idea what's going on right in front of them. So just that's also a note. So like I said, it's not really shots at this like Steelers defense. Like their defense is really good, but I mean they didn't look all amazing up until like when Macari got hurt, and then like what happened after every like drop pass? Well, Lamar got like sacked you
Yeah.
know? So it's just like that's the one thing the Steelers will always do. If it's third down, they're probably gonna sack you. So it's like avoid the third downs by catching the ball. Maybe, that's probably, what you get paid for. We drafted Zay Flowers to catch the ball. We signed Nelson Aguilar to not drop the ball, even though we know he's great at that. And then OBJ is just MIA all the time, all of a sudden. So I don't know. Like he left the game for most of the freaking first quarter or second or first half or whatever, came back, and then like we had that one stupid like fade to him. Like what was that play call? What was that play call? Like when have we worked out fades correctly? There's a few things that the Ravens can't do offensively ever, and that's work a fade or freaking do a screenplay. Because we've ran pretty successful screenplays this year, but two of them have been freaking fumbles that have ruined the total momentum of the whole game. So now I get OBJ is probably a fade monster, but you haven't worked that in all season. Why are you doing that right now in this moment? Like run the ball and guarantee at least 3 points, or do a different play. It's like these simple plays that we do against Pittsburgh, where it's like there's only one man option, like in a clutch moment. Like remember that play in 2020 versus the Steelers when they came here, and like they were like 5 or 6-0, whatever, and it was like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and like it was like late in the game, and we ran a QB draw up the middle on the Steelers defensive front. Like, why do we do that? Why do we do that? And then we went for two in the 2021, remember, and then when we were in Pittsburgh, and just completely ruined the game by letting TJ Watt go on block. Like, why do we do stupid stuff like that when we play Pittsburgh? I mean, we do stupid stuff when we play other teams, obviously, but it feels like when we play Pittsburgh in particular, it's always like we lose because we try to make a one-man show in the clutch moment. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, Mark Andrews has, feasted in the freaking red zone over these past few seasons. Why isn't he getting the target in the red zone in this situation? It's just annoying. And then on top of that, what has worked the past few weeks? Lamar has been a freaking baller in the freaking red zone, scoring, rushing touchdowns. Why isn't that play being used? So I guess this is because Falele is the right tackle. I don't know. And then, Ronnie's not 100%. When is he ever? So it's just like, it's very frustrating, because I mean, we were hoping that, a game like this wouldn't happen where it's like, oh, everyone has the dropsies, because it just felt like back then in the Greg Roman offense, when one person gets the dropsies, everybody does. And why is that the case, though? That doesn't even seem like it's a Greg Roman offense thing. That just seems like that's been around in Harbaugh's tenure. Like, at one person has the drop, has the drops, and then everybody has it all of a sudden. Like, why is that a thing? Like, are they scared? Like, what is this? What is happening? And then like this, the thing that bugs me is why is this fumble dictating the whole game? Like just why can't Harbaugh go to the guys and be like group group them up and be like, all right, we made a mistake. Let's bounce back from that and go ahead and score on the next drive. Oh, and then we didn't even get to touch on the play before the half ended in the first half, where we go for the fourth down. So apparently that was a miscommunication where Linderbaum had thought that the guy had stepped in the encroachment zone or whatever it's called, offsides, I think. And he had snapped the ball, and Lamar wasn't expecting it, and there really wasn't seen to be to have a play that was going to be ran. So, okay, first of all, Linderbaum, why are you snapping the ball without Lamar? So permission. I understand that you are a very good center. You're an all-pro type center. You're a future Hall of Famer center, but there needs to be a certain awareness here. You can't take your chances because you thought he went off sides. Like you just can't. And if you look at the replay, he was nowhere close to being off sides on that. So it's like, it's the second time we've lost this year. What is the one word that we've heard this year? Miscommunication. I feel like as a coach or as a player, you should understand the situation, and everybody should be on the same page. Why is everybody not on the same page? Why is that a thing? Like, why is that a thing so far this year? It seems like when we lose, nobody's on the same page. Why is Lamar doing this? Why is Linderbaum doing that? Why is Zay doing this? Why is Bateman doing that? Whatever. And then Bateman, Godford, he had a great game today. Had the drop touchdown, and then had that one drop over the shoulder. I don't even. That wasn't really a drop, I guess, but he just didn't, corral it or not corral it. You know what I'm trying to say. So, is corral even a word?
It is.
I don't think about it. I'm just thinking about it, did I use the right word? I need to stop using words I don't know how to use. But no, in all seriousness, I feel bad for Bateman. He's run through a lot the past few seasons, with the injuries or whatever. And he deactivated his Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. So you got to feel for him, but at the same time, you got to make these plays. You're a first round receiver. And then it feels like we scheme no plays for OBJ. It seems like we rarely scheme plays for Mark Andrews. Those should be your two pass catchers, in my opinion. Like OBJ is shifty, he's nasty, and I don't know, having all the weight on a rookie wide receiver, it just seems kind of like doom and gloom for me. So I guess that's just my take on the offense in the Steelers game right now.
It's funny because I just want to add, even though, Ja'Marr Chase is one of the best wide receivers in the league, I think in Ja'Marr Chase's game that he had today alone, he has more receptions and yards than OBJ has this season. And that's just like ridiculous.
I don't even think OBJ has cracked 100 yards. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, I don't even think that either. Yeah, I don't. But let's talk about the defense. The secondary was getting torched. And we let Pickens, torch us. He had like 106 yards. He got that game-winning touchdown on Stevens, I believe.
No, it was Marlowe.
That was on Marlowe. Okay, well, Marlowe, I know that's his first game back, but we expect more from you. So, the defense was a little bit shaky too. I mean, this is just an ugly game. And embarrassing. Like I said in this video, I mean, I feel like, we're more talented than, especially on defense. I feel like we're more talented than their unit. They might have a better secondary than us, but, slightly at that. But I don't feel like we should have been letting, a receiver like Pickens cook like that, especially on Marlowe.
Yeah, and then that one freaking Steelers running back just all of a sudden turned into freaking Barry Sanders all of a sudden,
Najee 1 point yards per carry.
No, not him. Najee Harris will never be a good NFL running back. He is freaking terrible. Like, he's literally garbage. I could be a better NFL running. Me and you could both be better NFL running backs than him. And it wouldn't take much. So no, I mean the other dude. He was way good. He was way better than Harris. If I was a GM, I'd cut Harris's ass this week and freaking have him be the starting running back. Najee Harris used to be flipping burgers by the end of the week.
At Burger King, yeah.
Ain't no Burger King. Probably at freaking some low-end third world country freaking fast food chain.
But do you have any opinions on the defense?
I don't think that the secondary was getting cooked later in the game. I thought they were doing fine. Up until they were on the field a lot. Like this is what it felt like. Because the Ravens didn't know how to score the freaking score on offense. I think that we did more scoring for the Steelers. After what do we have the safe? I mean, how many points did the defense allow? They allowed what, 13?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, about
no, 10 maybe.
15. No, because the safety, they
It
did
was
get
it was a field goal to the safety, then the touchdown, and then the field goal. So 13.
13. Yeah,
Right. So how'd they get the? Wouldn't it be 15 then?
yeah. I think yeah, it would be
We
15.
don't know
Yeah,
how to do math clearly. But so because I don't remember all the Steelers' points in the game. I have to look now. See, let me see what the kicker did. What the kicker? How many? Oh no, he went 3 for 3. So we give up. What's it?
they did a 2 point
16.
conversion. They did a two
Oh
point.
yeah, 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 yeah. So then it was 15 points.
Yeah, 15. Yeah,
Okay, so that makes more sense now. Um, but no, like I was saying, the Ravens defense wasn't really doing that bad up until later in the game when they seemed a little bit gassed. You know, especially letting that runner back just, he was tearing them apart. And then Pickens late in the game. I don't know why, like on that Pickens play for that touchdown, there was no safeties deep. You leave a guy on an island, who's just coming off foot surgery, not just coming off, but really coming off the rehab situation. So it's just like I don't know like why that was the play. That felt kind of like winkish, in my opinion, if that makes any sense. Um, like there should have been a safety there. You just can't bet on that. We know that our pass rushers aren't amazing. I know we have like the most tied third, fourth, whatever, most sacks in the NFL, but it's just like how many of those are from our actual pass rushers? So I mean, to be honest, the Ravens are probably a pass rusher away from being an elite defense. And
right.
I still think that we have really good defense. Mike McDonald really knows how to use these guys and the best of their capabilities. That's the one thing I didn't like about Wink. It never felt like he used guys to their best ability. It was like just blitz and that was it. It's like maybe one guy is not a blitzer and he likes to be in coverage, and then he'd have Queen in coverage. That was always a disaster. But I guess this is a good transitioning point into getting into the defensive stats here. Um, unless you have something else to say about the defense.
No, no.
Right. Well, our leading tackler on the day is Roquan Smith. He had 11 total tackles. 7 of them were solo. He had 1 pass deflection. Patrick Queen had 7 total tackles. 2 of them were solo. He had a half a sack and 1 pass deflection, and obviously a QB hit. Marcus Williams made his return. His playing his first game since week 1. He had 5 tackles, 3 solo tackles. Matabike had 5 tackles as well and 3 solo. He had half of a sack and 1 QB hit. Brandon Stevens had 5 total tackles. Three of them were solo. He had a pass deflection. And Brent Urban, Marlon Humphrey both had 4 total tackles, and 4 of them were solo. Urban had a sack, and a tackle for loss, and 1 QB hit. Kyle Hamilton had 3 tackles, 3 of them were solo. 2 tackles for loss, I should say. And there's many more people who had a tackle. Lamar even had a tackle, by the way. um, so I'm really proud of I thought that the defense was kind of being be the weakest unit of the team, especially the secondary, but like they haven't really been terrible this year. I didn't really expect them to be terrible. I thought Mike was going to make the best out of them, but I didn't think they're going to be that good. And they have been pretty good this year. And I think that this game was I'm gonna knock my mic down. I think that this game was another testament how good how good the defense is. But offense has got to complement the defense. It felt like the Ravens were constantly, getting in 3 and outs or maybe getting 1 first down and then not doing anything. After we got that 1 fumble on that 1 punt return, that should have been game. I'm sorry, that should have been game. If that happened to the Ravens, we would have lost that game. Like if the Ravens were down and they were getting the ball back and they fumbled right there, the game's over. No, but since it was, against us, I guess I don't know. It's just the Ravens. The Ravens pissed me off. Like they've been the 2 losses they've had this year were completely unavoidable. And it seemed like there was a lack of Andrews in the second half. I don't know if he was getting draped or whatever, but after McCarr got hurt and Falele came in, you just had to figure that TJ Watt would just eat. And then like I said, Ronnie Stanley letting that one guy blow right by him. For the Lamar. I mean, Lamar's got to step up there. I mean, You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where he should have stepped up in the pocket and he got the ball knocked out. Why does it seem like that always happens? It feels like when we need a game-winning drive, the ball will be knocked right out of Lamar's hands. Like
every every time, like it's like clockwork.
I know. I don't know what that's about. I really don't.
It seems like a fumble in general. Like even the Bengals playoff game last year, where he just batted the ball out of his hand. Like it seemed like it's always a fumble in general.
And my problem with that is like, why are the fumbles not being fixed? Like that seems to be our issue. Why don't we? I don't know. Maybe you should be a coach, Harbaugh, and fix that. I don't know what that's about. Like, why is that just a big issue all of a sudden?
I mean, why do we hold the ball like we hold the ball like it's a pebble? Like even Justice Hill, he just punched the ball right out of his arms, early
Right.
in the game, and King and Drake against the Colts just punched it right out. And Lamar, I mean, it's been like 3 times this season. Why do we hold the ball like it's just nothing? Like I don't know. We need better coaching on holding the ball. That's like the most fundamental point of the game. That's just like a teacher coming to me and you and teaching us how to, add 2 plus 2. Like we already know this stuff. I don't
Right.
know.
Exactly.
We don't
So
hold the ball.
it's incredibly frustrating, and it's just you know we played a pretty clean game. Like we didn't really have like a lot of penalties or whatever, but I really have no explanation for all those drops. Like it's not like it was raining or if it was snowing or if it was windy. Like there was that one play to freaking Zay Flowers where he has some deep down the field and Zay just slips and falls. I'm like, really? Like for are we being why are you backpedaling? First of all, that kind of signify. I don't know if it was just the underthrown or whatever, but let's just why are we backpedaling? That don't like you don't run backwards because you just are prone to fall. So and then I mean the Steelers turf is just shitty. I mean, or whatever. Their field has always been pretty crappy, so you don't want to backpedal on already crappy, ground, and then I mean, give me not give me, but I mean, just how do you feel about that? Like, you think that that ball was underthrown? Do you think that he shouldn't have backpedaled? Like, what do you think happened there?
It's I feel like Lamar only had a couple bad throws, and one of those throws was interception when he was trying to throw it to OBJ. But I feel like I feel like it wasn't Lamar's fault in terms of throwing the balls to the receivers on all those drops.
Right,
It was the receivers. They I don't know, like I don't know what was going through their heads. Just like you said, I don't know. I mean, you have to catch the ball first, and then you can think about okay,
right,
turn up upfield, I can backpedal and juke this guy out.
right,
They have to catch the ball first. You
right.
don't want to be stupid and think before you catch, and that's what ended up happening. But
Yep,
passing wise, Lamar had a good game. It's just that one interception, and again, his stat line looks ugly. 0 touchdowns. And like I was telling you earlier, his stat line compared to his caliber of QBs, the Josh Allens, the Mahomes, the Herberts, it doesn't compare to them. And like I said, if you really watch the game, that will represent that better than what the score does, and
right,
this people won't see that. So
right,
not looking good with the offense, especially.
right. And I don't know. It's just every time the Ravens lose, the Lamar haters come out like crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. Like there's just so much hate on that man. Like, and I'm gonna transition into this real quick, but because I don't want to go on a full rant about Lamar, whatever about people like coming out of their caves to just hate him. But doesn't it feel like it, or does it feel like Harbaugh comes and rallies these guys up and just like and after a fumble or after a bad play, it's like wouldn't you as a coach want to come out and motivate your guys like, all right, we messed up, like let's get our heads back into the game and move on. Like why does it seem like in the Harbaugh era one play dictates a whole game? Like maybe it's just I only watch Ravens games, so I don't really know about other football teams, but to me it feels like, well, obviously I didn't watch before the Harbaugh era because I mean I was probably like 4. So like, but to me, it feels like one play can dictate a game for us. Where it's like it's a fumble, it's a pick, it's a penalty, even if it's something simple as a penalty. Like, what do you think that is? Do you think it's Harbaugh? Do you think it's like players getting to their own head? Like, what do you think is the issue, and what can be done to fix it?
I do feel like it's kind of hard bug because I'm not gonna lie, like every time they show him or like the Ravens sideline, I always see him just on the edge of the sideline. Like I never see him, talking with the players.
Right.
And maybe it's just me, but I never have seen him like actually talking with the players. Like I see him always stay in that same spot. And like players will come to him, or if we score a touchdown, he'll like maybe move up a couple steps and actually start to encourage the guys and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like it's kind of a hardball thing. I feel like, he could be a little bit better in, definitely encouraging our guys during the game, especially
Right.
when we have plays like that. And maybe he does, and the camera just doesn't show it a lot. I mean, we don't
Right.
have like inside access on the sideline, but you are very true. It seemed like one play is the make or break thing in a Ravens game. I mean, even if we're winning 2 scores, if we just do one stupid thing, the team always comes back, and it's the
Right.
whole ball game.
Right.
But I also think, besides Harbaugh, it's coaching. Our wide receiving coach, running back coach, quarter, it's coaching. I feel like that is that as well, because it seems like it's always the same groups that these mistakes are happening to. The
Right.
fumbles, who do they mainly happen with? The running backs, Lamar, the drops. We don't really throw to our running backs like that. So it's the receivers, right? It might
Mm-hmm.
be a couple tight ends. I think it's really, Harbaugh in the coaching. So I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree.
Yeah. It's annoying. Like, how I can turn to you and be like, this game's over, in the first
You're right
quarter.
about it, right.
Huh?
And be right about it, unfortunately.
Exactly. Like I can just be in like completely over exaggerator, but I'm actually being serious.
It is
Like I'm
crazy.
not joking.
I looked at you, was like, is this dude crazy? Like, we're really gonna score 3 more points? And you were right. We didn't score any more points after that. We just stayed at 10. I was like, wow. He, he was
Yeah.
right.
We've literally handed the Steelers so many wins these past few years. We've handed them wins. Like we've just like literally like had like a freaking a silver platter and was like, here you go, here's a win. Here's a free steal. And I'm sorry. Like I said, Najee Harris is terrible. Kenny Pickett is terrible. Matt Canada is terrible. Like, do the Steelers even have a good offensive line? Like,
No,
why are we not breaking through more? It's like, why do we make them look good? Is my point. Like, everyone's saying that this rivalry is dead. It's because of their end. It's not us. We've been the better team for years. Well, I don't know about for years, but for a decent amount of time.
yeah.
But we make them look better than they are. And it really makes me mad. I'm sorry. The Steelers are not going anywhere this year. Like, they're just not. And they won't be as long as they have Kenny Pickett as their quarterback. And it's just like, why do we make them look so good? Kenny Pickett has thrown 2 game-winning drives against us in the past 2 seasons, the last 2 times we've played them. Why? Like, why? And it's mainly because the offense is giving them so many opportunities to get back into the game. It was 10-3 or 10-5 for the longest time. Of course, they're going to break through eventually. It's like me sitting here, like, throwing stuff out of my window, into a garbage can, trying to make it there. Of course, eventually I'm gonna get it in there if I try for like, freaking 2-3 days. Like, it's like of course they're gonna come back and score and win the game because you only scored 10 points in the first quarter. Like you could have put your foot on their throat or on their neck and said, like, oh, we're gonna win, we're gonna dominate that. But no, you're gonna fumble the ball and then never score again. Like, what is that about? Like, what is that about? Like, that's some Greg Roman stuff. Like, I don't know what that was about. And you could see how pissed Todd Monken was, in the booth, like after that one Nelson Aguilar drop.
Mhm.
Because like I said, what came after that? A sack. So I'm sorry. They're not good. And even if they fire Matt Canada, they're not going to be any better than they were. The 49ers ran all over them.
They did whatever they wanted to do.
The Texans did whatever they wanted to them. Why couldn't we? Why couldn't we? Why are the Texans beating up on the Steelers before we are?
And they lost
Deshaun
to
Watson even probably did good better against them.
he did. He did. No, yeah, he did do better than he did. He did.
So, and he's only good for massages at this point in his career. So it's just like, I don't understand why we make the Steelers look good. They're not. I'm sorry. Like, just even though year that they went like 11-0, were freaking terrible. Their defense was their team. Ben Roethlisberger was on literally his last string. Was it 2020 or 2021? I think it was 2020 when they went 11-0.
Yeah.
And then, like, all of a sudden they start winning games. They're 5-8, and Tomlin's precious 500 record. So then they start winning games, but then they're already out of postseason picture because they're 5-8. That'll probably happen this year too. They're gonna go ahead and go like 3-7, and then all of a sudden win the next 6 games in a row. So it's just, I'm sorry, they're just the Steelers aren't a good team in my opinion. They have a good defense, but their offense is atrocious. Because they put Najee Harris out there as a starting running back. That should tell you everything you need to know. So I guess that's my little rant. Is we just make the Steelers look good all the time, every single time. We make the Steelers look good, and then they have, or at least we make their defense look like the 2000 freaking Ravens or whatever. And then because like what they said, like the Texans had like 400 yards against them.
Yeah, they torched them.
C.J. Stroud, the rookie at a freaking Ohio State, torched them. When is a quarterback out of Ohio State too good? No, but CJ Stroud does look good though. I ain't gonna lie, CJ Stroud does look good. He's definitely probably a super future star, a super future star, a future superstar. See, the Ravens got my mind all messed up, So thank you, Lamar Bateman, offensive line, and OBJ, and I'm tired. I'm tired of losing like these stupid games. I'm tired of it. Are you going to give me your last thoughts? You want to rant about something?
You pretty much covered the ranting, but I just add, next week, we're going to be playing in London. Primetime game, you could say,
Yeah, Derrick Henry's going to have his way with us.
Hopefully not. Our last game in London, it wasn't pretty. It was about 6 years ago, 2017. Yeah. That was an ugly game. And so, what?
You remember the score?
Oh, like 44-17 or something like that.
We did not get 17 points.
Oh, 44-7. It was something ugly like that. But we look to improve next week against the Titans. I see that being a game just like the Steelers game. They're a team that are just like the Steelers. Their main source of offense is mainly running. They do have DeAndre Hopkins, but he's on the later end of his career. So we just gotta look to bounce back.
Yeah, I can't wait for Derrick Henry to throw for 2 touchdowns against us. Oh no, I can't wait for the Titans defensive line to look like the 85 Bears all of a sudden and freaking just sack Lamar like 8 times.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing.
Lele stinks. That's just my last rant. He's not a future right tackle. He's a future flipping burgers at McDonald's. Every time he comes in, the freaking whoever he's guards blows right by him. He's a revolving door. He's just Villanueva from a different freaking area.
But yeah, I think that'll end the video. I think that'll end the video
before I start cursing.
Got all our rants out. We just look forward to building back next week and just getting back on track. But yeah, I'm TJ. This is Jared. We're Birds of Prey Sports Talk. Stay tuned. For more videos. We have more videos coming. Hopefully the Orioles, can do better on Tuesday. Extend their season. We won't have to make a video on Tuesday. About the end of their season. And make sure you subscribe to all our socials. Twitter, TikTok. We're still grinding. Also Casual Cinema.
Dragging out this intro so hard.
We're getting content out. We're gonna get content out. Just trust us. But yep, we're TJ and Jared, and we're out.
Right.